technology is a very special kind of product and a very special kind of markets that determine technology. Okay. I will not get too much into management issues, but we will discuss some of it. Okay. So let me begin by sharing with you my PowerPoint. I hope you can see my screen. Can all of you see my screen?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
We are able to see you, sir.
Yes, sir, we can
Can
see
you
your
see
screen.
my screen? Can you hear me talking?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Yes, sir, you are very much audible.
Sir, you are audible and your presentation is visible too.
Hello?
Yes,
Can you
sir.
hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Can somebody respond? If you can
Yes,
hear
sir.
me?
Hello. Yes, sir, you are audible.
Can you hear me, madam?
Yes,
Yes, sir,
sir.
we can
Yes,
hear you,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Sir,
But
you're
I can't
audible
hear
to
you.
us. You're audible to us, sir.
Hello, John, I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Just a minute. My speakers are all right. So if you can hear me, I can start the class or I can have to reboot again or do something to it. And that will take another 5 minutes. And let me. Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Can you hear me, madam? Poonam?
Yes, sir.
Ji?
Yes, sir, we
I
can hear
can't
you,
hear
sir.
you. Anyway, something has gone wrong. Anyway, let me begin my presentation and we will try to come back on it. If you can hear me, I'll go ahead. If you can
Okay,
just send
sir.
me in the chat, if you can hear me, then I'll go ahead with it. Yes, sir, go ahead. All right. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know what's happened to my speakers. So we had said that when we discuss technology or technology management or technology strategy, I want to recap for you what we learned in the morning. We said the key task of strategy is to set the direction of an organization, where it wants to go. It has to do with the growth and survival in the face of environmental challenges, environmental pressures, in the face of competition, and so on. And it has to do with resource allocation in light of the changing environment, because environment keeps changing. Okay. We have not discussed very much into detail about what environments change. But economic environments, demographic changes, are of course, the most well-known. But in modern times, technology and technological changes are also very, very important. They actually upset the structure of industries. And if you go back to the analysis that I was presenting to you earlier, the 5 forces model, where we were talking of bargaining power of suppliers, bargaining power of customers, and we were looking at competition within the rivalry, and new entry and all that. All these forces are impacted by technology, new products. And the last 20-30 years have seen a proliferation of new products, new services, almost new industries. This pandemic will lead to this. Right now I cannot hear you, but you can hear me. But this online teaching of large-scale people, 200, 300 people, it was not possible earlier. I in Calcutta used to do it, but we had to go to a studio. We still go to a studio, and then through a satellite VSAT link, it was transmitted to other centers, from where students will have to come to the center to be able to follow our lectures. And this was the technology till, let me say, a year ago. And now it's possible to teach. All of us are teaching from home. And these things has happened. Then cloud, where everything is on cloud, including your software, including all your data, and so on. This program, this PowerPoint presentation that I'm making to you, is also from the cloud. It's on Dropbox, which is a cloud thing. On my laptop, I prepared this PowerPoint, uploaded it to. So there is a cloud service, okay, and so there is a new industry which provides cloud service, which is Google Drive, and so on and so forth. So those are just examples, okay. So technological change is one of the most important sources of change in the economy. I'm not going to talk about any specific change. I'm going to talk about, and you have had lectures from people who are experts on information technology or digital technology and so on and so forth. So I'm not getting into any of that. I'm not an expert in technology. But I would like to look at its economic forces and and how it impacts governance and management. And the companies that can foresee the new technology or govern it, control it, they get high profits, which in economic jargon we call monopoly rents. Okay, if you are the first to get the vaccine, if you have a patent on it, okay, you will make more money in the next 1 year than you would have made in the last 10 or 20 years. And that is because of monopoly rents. Even if you charge so-called reasonable pricing, you'll be able to really get a lot of money. And companies who cannot adapt to new technology are destined to die out. Many companies have failed to adapt to it and have died out. That has happened to a whole lot of industries. Okay, I did not mention in my CV that for 10 years I served on a government board for reconstruction of public sector enterprises. These are all the sick companies, and before they have to die out or shut down or sold off, they have to come before this board whether we can revive it. And there's a whole host of industries which have been technologically, okay, made obsolete. Let me just give you one or two examples. Okay. One was Bharat Ophthalmic Glass. Bharat Ophthalmic Glass is somewhere in Bihar, near Dhanbad or somewhere like that. It used to make this glass, what I'm wearing now, these glasses. So these are made of plastics. Earlier they were made of glass. So it's called ophthalmic glass. And this technology was imported in the 1960s from Czechoslovakia. And today nobody uses glass anymore. It's used here and there, very little. And there's too much capacity still existing in the world. And most Indian, whatever we are wearing is kind of a synthetic material. You may call it kind of a plastic. And this is meant to die out. Another example that I will give you, Hindustan Cables. Hindustan Cable used to make the lead-clad thick cables, telephone cables, which our roads were dug up to put. When your telephone lines went out, they were dug up to repair and to put back and so on. So those have been overtaken by optic fiber cables. So the Hindustan Cables, which is very big in Rupnarayan, and there are 3 or 4 plants, one in Allahabad, one in Rupnarayanpur, and so on. So there is no way they could adapt to this technology. The product has become totally obsolete. Okay, and optic fiber technology has affected many other branches, including power cables and so on and so forth. So while telecommunication cables have moved to optic fiber and data entry, even including the wireless and the use of spectrum, which are causing our new technologies. So new technologies often give rise to new industries and also new needs. Consumers suddenly feel we need the phone. We all have to have our own phone in our pocket. Earlier, one phone was enough for the whole family, wasn't it? At home, and even when my children went out to study to Delhi and stuff like that, in the late 90s, they didn't have a phone. Nobody had mobile phones. Even I didn't have a mobile phone till 1978, 79, 98, 99, and stuff like that. So if you had to call Delhi, you had to call my son's college, you would have to call, make a book a call, and wait, and he has to be in the hostel room, he has to be around, and somebody has to pick up the phone should not be engaged, and so on and so forth. It was almost impossible to talk in those days. So this new industry which has become possible is around telephony, and millions of people are employed in this all over the world, including in India. So management of technology, management of innovation and information has emerged as a key requirement for success in the 21st century. Okay, and that is where Chinese have been concentrating. Okay, and Chinese, as I said, was far, far ahead of us in everything, including in this game. Okay, there are many reasons for this. Okay, so this management of technology and innovation, every country is in the race for it. Okay, India also in a very small way, but we are not known to be innovators in that sense. By and large, we are not known to be in technology. Hence, management of technological change, especially the productivity, especially at the productive enterprise level, is the most important part of corporate strategy. When we talk about strategy, technology management, it is how to handle technological change, how to manage it, how to control it, how to adapt to new technologies which are coming up. Your survival depends on it. If you are not able to do it, you will be out of the industry. And many companies have fallen by the wayside. Okay, which includes whole host of things. There are new technologies affecting, including locomotion, railways, including energy transmission and energy generation. The solar energy is becoming important and so on and so forth. And what will people like NTPC do? NTPC uses coal. And Indian coal is very dirty, as you know. No? It's got a lot of ash. It pollutes the environment even more than other coals. And India has promised to phase out coal to protect as a hedge against global warming. Which means companies like NTPC, Tata Power, all these big companies, Calcutta Electric Supply Company, private and public sector companies, state electricity boards, all their capacity is going to become redundant in the next decade or two in that sense. And new technologies are becoming, management of those new technology, adapting to it is extremely crucial to these organizations to survive, to manage. What is technology? What do you understand by technology? I notice more people are in this classroom are from technological stream than from business or management. So what do we understand by technology? What is technology? Oh, sorry, I can't hear you. So I can't ask you questions. Oh, I'm sorry, I was waiting for an answer. I'm very sorry. Okay. What is technology? Is it information? At one level, it is information. How to do things, what to do, and so on. It's knowledge about things. Okay. And it's about how to do. It's information, it's knowledge, how to do. If this is technology, if we agree this is technology, since I can't hear you, and it's a one-way communication. Later when I get a chance, I'll reboot my computer, maybe that will come back, that will bring us back to the thing. So what is technology? What is, if it is information, knowledge, and how to do, then it presents us with a very peculiar problem. I will just explain the problem. So technology as knowledge means it's the methods of doing things, processes, tools and systems employed in the creation of goods and in providing services. Okay. I'm providing today education here. Okay. Which is also a form of knowledge. And there are processes being followed. Okay. To be able to, there's a camera, there's a microphone, there's a speaker here which is suddenly not working, and so on and so forth. I'm trying to see if my speaker, I can get it back to life. So, these are elements of technology. Sorry, I'll just go back. So it's knowledge. Industrial technology is knowledge to decide what product or service is needed. So I'm trying to unpackage what we understand by technology. Okay. Knowledge to plan and configure the facility that will produce the goods or services. You think of a refinery which makes, let's say, petroleum products. So it is first to know what to produce in India. Do they want diesel or do they want petrol? Is diesel allowed to be sold? Many countries don't allow diesel to be used at all because it pollutes the environment. Okay. Many countries use it only by cracking it and breaking it up into other fuels. So which products are needed? What services are needed from that thing? Okay. Then to plan and configure the facilities. So how big will be the refinery? Where will the crude come from? How will you store it? Okay. And what will be the method of cleaning it? Okay. Depending on the wax content of the crude oil and so on and so forth. Depending on, so the refinery has to be configured to specific crudes and to specific composition of the raw material in one sense. Then I design and construct the plant. So there are specialized design, engineering and design companies doing this. Okay. Well known was Engineers India Limited was one public sector company doing this. So they used to do chemical design and construction of plants and so on. And the last is the knowledge to operate the plant. Once the plant is ready, can we operate it? Okay. So these are different elements of industrial technology. Okay. Anybody who tries to buy everything as a package means he cannot unpackage the deal. He has to take what they call turnkey. Turnkey means the guy who is supplying you will decide what is to be produced, which plant, what size, okay, what design construction he does. He runs it for you for 6 months and hands it over to you. Okay. Which means everything is under his control, the supplier's control. But if you can unpackage the technology, then you can decide what products you want to make, which kind of a plant do you want, where will you buy it from, who will design and construct the plant and stuff like that. Will you import equipment, what you will make within India, what you will make yourself within the company, what you will buy from outside and so on and so forth. And assuming that you know how to operate the plant. Most Indians are good at operation with the plants. Okay. And then knowledge or information which helps to keep the plant, prevents the plant from becoming obsolete. As new technologies come, new processes come, new energy saving methods come, I keep changing my plant configuration to incorporate those elements. Okay. So now government has declared that BS5 standard for petrol in the cars. That means the refineries, all the refineries which produce the petrol, will have to change. We have to invest money to change the cleaning of the oil. That means the nitrogen and other elements, sulfur and stuff like that, which is in the product. The level has to go down further below a level. It means they will have to put more cleaning equipment inside it. And it can be quite costly. When, for example, a refinery I was a director of at that time, just to move, it was a 2 million ton small refinery in Assam, and just to move from BS3 to BS2 to BS4, the standard, okay, the refinery had to invest 700 crores without any change in the capacity. And the price of petrol was the same. So how will I recover the cost of 700 crores? These are key elements. But I need to do it to prevent my plant from totally shutting down. Because government will not allow me to sell a product which is technologically harmful or obsolete in that sense. Okay. So who controls the technology value chain actually controls the money, controls the cream of that industry at one level. So technological, in the computer industry that we were talking about, the technology is controlled by whom? Intel and Microsoft. So they work together that before they launch a chip, they inform Microsoft, and Microsoft's software must adapt to the new chip, or should be ready with it, to modify it. So they work in hand in hand. Okay. And Intel also always works to make sure that Microsoft software works on its chips. Okay. It drives it. Even the operating system that we are talking about, we're looking at it. So let me give you an example of a digital value chain, what it looks like. So at one level, there is planning, what I was telling you, design and engineering, construction and operation. Remember those 4 stages I was telling you technology? Right on top of this chart, those 4 stages given to you. But in digital technology, in the planning part is user interface and applications. Which software platform will you use and how will it control? Which digital or physical integration will be used? Which sensors and equipment will you are planning about it? And then the design, engineering and construction part is given in between. It's designed for big data analytics. Then you will have that kind of software, that kind of things. Okay, it will have simulation and virtual reality, suppose. Okay, in mobile interface, then I will have to have, at the design stage itself, I will have to incorporate all these things. So this is just an example to show. And somebody who controls the entire chain will really have high rents, high profits, what I'm calling monopoly rents, and be able to run this through in that sense. Okay. So what really are the issues in technology management? So one is to identify what are these companies' technological assets. What do I have that provide new business opportunities? Now, most Indian companies don't have great technological assets. Do we have? Can you think of any examples? Then I think, since I can't hear you, I'll be happy to look at your chat boxes. Okay. If you have anything on chat, I would be happy to look at it. Okay. But so looking at my technological assets, a company's technological assets, okay, that provide new business opportunities. As I said, most Indian companies don't have very strong technological assets. I wouldn't say they don't have anything. They don't have. Our drug companies had some, or many other industries. Even our software industry has some technological assets and so on. Okay, and it can be done through expansion of the firm's R&D into new areas. I'm doing research. I asked my research team to look into new products, okay. So if I was into drugs and pharmaceuticals, can I also now look for vaccines like that, which is a different branch of the pharmaceutical industry and so on. And other is the sourcing of technology developed by others. And this is where Indians excel. Okay. We are not generators of new technology, but we are the world's largest buyers of it. Or we were till the 90s. Now, because India and China are becoming powerful, many companies in the world don't like to sell to us. They don't like to sell technology. They think you will become the competitor. So they don't want to give it to you. Earlier, they were forced to give it to you because they could not come into India. They were not allowed to invest into India. So only way to get something out of the Indian market was to give the technology to some Indian company who will give you royalties, some payment and stuff like that. That licensing is what we are calling. Other way of acquiring technology is through acquisitions and mergers. Okay, Tata Motors went and bought a plant in Korea, a Daewoo plant in Korea. Daewoo, the group had collapsed and late 90s, and they were selling the commercial vehicle plant, what we call trucks plant, and Tata Motors went and acquired it. And when they acquired it, Mr. Ratan Tata was the head of the empire, and he said, we are doing it because nobody sells us technology. This is a way, by taking over this plant, we get new technology in commercial vehicles, which we can incorporate even in Indian products and so on. The third is, of course, joint venturing. That you bring technology, I bring money, and we put together a plan together. So these are different ways of sourcing technology developed by others. Of course, if you can do R&D, have your own technology, that's the best option. Okay. But Indians, as I said, have had very few successes in that. Pharmaceutical is one exception area. Even there, not great. 3-4 companies did very well. Ranbaxy did very well. And some other companies, okay, Biocon does well, and so on and so forth. Okay. So now listen, since Indians buy technology, for us the most crucial thing is the market for technology. Am I right? So what is a market? What is a market? Normally I had put this question so that you will all get to speak about the market. But since I cannot hear you at this point of time, let me see a minute. Is it all right if I try to, madam? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is it all right if I try to reboot? I
Yes,
reboot
sir.
my computer and see if I can get back.
Yes, sir. Surely, sir. Just.
Just wait for 2 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Please,
Definitely,
please,
sir.
please be
Yes.
patient with me. I'm sorry I'm having this problem, but I
No
think
issues, sir.
rebooting might just help it. It
Yes,
was
sir.
working well in the morning, and
It's okay, sir. Do take your time, sir. We'll wait
can
here.
somebody write to me on the chat, Madam Poonamji? If you can write
Yes.
on the chat, can I reboot or should I continue? Okay, so I'll just quickly reboot. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
I can hear you also. So we are working. We are good.
Okay, sir.
Sorry, very sorry for keeping all of you waiting.
No, it's okay.
We will take some more time after 4 o'clock. Don't worry. I'll make up for this. So I'm just coming back, starting my PowerPoint and coming back.
All right, sir. No issue.
So we were somewhere here, and I'm not going to blow it up. If you find it difficult to see my font, then please tell me. It's easier for me to manipulate like this. So what is technology we were looking at? And we said it's information, it's knowledge, it's how to do. Okay. And all it consists of methods and processes, tools and systems to create goods and services. We also call it the application of science and engineering knowledge in the development of methods and procedures to improve human conditions and human efficiency. Okay. This is when I sort of went away trying to so what are the elements of industrial technology? Knowledge to decide what to produce. Okay, like a market survey you do, what works in India, what are technical standards, okay, and so on. Knowledge to plan and configure the facility that will produce the goods and services, how to make a refinery which will produce, be a standard for fuel, for example, petrol, because now the law says only that petrol must be used. Design and construction of a plant, what you call detailed engineering drawings, designs and so on, by which the people who construct the plant will make it and put it together. And of course, knowledge to operate the plant, how to operate the plant at high levels of efficiency, okay, and of course, how to prevent this plant from becoming obsolete. So this is, I'm just repeating a little bit, okay. And we said we went into digital value chain, what we discussed, and we said this value chain actually has all those elements that I was telling you about: planning, design, engineering, construction, and operation. And I have given examples from what today the IT industry calls the digital value chain. Okay, so how do technology, as I said, India is not a great producer of technology, which is very sad actually, because we produce the world's largest number of engineers, and only recently China has overtaken us. But till say 5 years ago, we were the world's largest producers of it. But we don't spend enough on R&D and so on, and we have been happy just buying license and technology for others. For 40 years, we did it up to 1991, and after that, it has become more difficult because foreign companies don't like to sell to us because they think we will become their competitors. Okay, so getting technology is not easy, and one guys who are a little less fussy in this matter were Chinese. Okay, so one reason Chinese did so well in India and penetrated the markets is they are willing to share their technology, so-called share their technology. Anyway, they what they supply. So because if you just want a license, when do you need just a license? When would you need just a license? Boliye? I don't need anything else. I don't need your design. I don't need your construction. I don't need your equipment. I just need a license. When will I need it?
For approval of something?
Pardon? Can you repeat it? Somebody said something. When will I
Yes,
need
sir,
it?
for the approval, checking.
Yeah, when will I need just a license?
When we have the know-how,
Yes,
we
you already have it. You already know how to do it. But
Yes.
you will be violating a patent. So, bolte bhai, take 2%, 5%, let me do my work. Now, drug companies in India had learned to copy the drug made by multinationals. And when the new law came in, so they say, okay, I don't need your process knowledge. I know how to do it. You just give me the license. And that is the cheapest way of getting technology, by the way. 5%, 3%, whatever you get. Otherwise, you buy the company. You go, a company which has got technology, you go and buy it. Okay, and then it becomes your by ownership. Third is joint ventures. In joint ventures, not only do you pay for technology license fees, all the future profits which you will get will be shared with a partner. So it's a more costly form of acquiring technology. Okay. As a matter of my PhD was on this, which is a cheaper form of acquiring technology and so on. But let me come back to this. Market for technology. Where Indians go to buy. Okay, what is this market? And what is a market? That was the question I asked and I stopped here because I couldn't hear you. What is a market? Some people wrote on the chat. But please speak out.
Sir, a place for exchange of goods and services.
Very good. What else? It's a place for goods and exchange and goods and services. Yes. So you can do it on the street also, no? हाँ बोलिए आगे चलें.
It includes the potential also, prospective buyers who have not come today, but they may come.
Okay, okay, they might come. All right, what else?
It means by which the exchange of goods and services takes place as a result of buyers and sellers maybe being in contact with one another either directly or through mediating agents or institutions.
That is correct. But the market is something more than that. Place of exchange. Place of exchange can be anywhere, no? I'm walking on the street.
Yes.
You and I can exchange
Yes.
things, you know. I can give you money.
Yes.
You can give me some product. Okay. That's not a market.
Okay.
That's not a market. When we stop near a traffic light, some people come to sell you things, a book or something like that. I buy it. That's an exchange. That's not a marketplace. Are you getting what I'm saying? So what do we call a market? Let me define it for you. It's a place of exchange in goods and services. That's very understood. The most important thing is there are many buyers and sellers. An absence of one will not lead to the breakdown of exchange. कि आज मैं आलू खरीदने नहीं गया तो मार्केट बंद नहीं हो जाएगी. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So the fact that somebody has not come to sell or somebody has not come to buy makes no difference, because there are many sellers and many buyers. And that's a market, not just exchange of goods and services. Because exchange of goods and services can take place between two people only also. So there's many buyers and many sellers, so that the price is not impacted by absence of one buyer or one seller. That means no one buyer or no seller has any enough influence on the market to change the price, which is set by demand and supply in that market. This is a very important condition for it. This is what we call an efficient market or market. And goods and services which are exchanged are individually owned by somebody, a person or a firm. Okay. So I go to a market and I buy potatoes. The potatoes are owned by the seller. Okay. He has a right to part with it. Once I give him the money, it becomes mine, then I own it. Okay. Same with a car. I go to a dealer. Okay. I visit all the dealers, then I decide one model. I go to a dealer. Okay. And it is the ownership of the car is with the owner, with the dealer, till I pay for it, and then it becomes mine. And my name is registered in whatever place. The transport department registers my name as the new owner of that car or motorcycle or the vehicle and stuff like that. So it's individually owned. Okay. And we are exchanging individually owned goods and services. I'm exchanging what belongs to me for what belongs to you. And we are exchanging it, and then the ownership changes both ways. Information about the product or service is freely available or can be acquired in a costless manner. That means both buyer and seller know what they are exchanging. Again, when I go to buy a potato, I pick it up, I like the size or not, I test it. Is it stale or is it infected by I want to see, does it have any worms in it and stuff like that. I can examine it. I have information about it. Okay. So it tells me this is the brand. This is Nagpur ka Santra orange. So I know Nagpur oranges mean this. Okay. And it looks like a Nagpur. I taste it. I may even taste one piece from it and then I buy it. So this information makes it possible for me. He's charging me a higher price because it is from Nagpur. And I'm very sure what I'm paying for is the right thing that I'm getting. And this exchange, this information is costless to me. It should not cost me anything. There are something about the market that we make. And the party participating in the exchange are able to assess the value. Okay. I know this onion is worth 20 rupees a kilo or 30 rupees a kilo. Okay, etc. etc. If it's a very special onion which is used in sambar, then I will pay 40 rupees for it. And so I have an idea of the value of the goods. Okay. So, and as I said, information about the product is freely available, etc. The market for technology violates all these assumptions. Okay. Why? Firstly, technology being information is non-exhaustible in contrast to item that is individually owned. Let me repeat this. It's non-exhaustible. Knowledge or information is non-exhaustible. When I sell you a car, I cannot use that car anymore. But when I sell you knowledge or information, it does not diminish with me. Are you with me? Assume my lecture, you are paying me for it, and this is a market transaction taking place. You are paying me 100 rupees and I am giving you this lecture on technology markets. This is a knowledge about technology markets. The fact that at the end of the lecture, I have transferred this knowledge to you but it is still with me. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Let me repeat this more. The usage of information knowledge does not reduce its present or future availability. If I give you potatoes, they'll be eaten up. It will no longer be available after that, once you cook it. But not with information, not with knowledge. It does not reduce its availability. It's non-exhaustible. That's why we're calling it non-exhaustible. It's not exhaustive, it doesn't finish. As a matter of fact, more people use the technology, the better will be its value. They add something to the knowledge, they add something to the information. Okay. They increase its breadth, its scope, and its value. Unlike other markets, where when goods are exchanged, the seller doesn't have it anymore. He has parted with it for money. In the market for technology, the seller always has it. Hence, price mechanism is not working. But demand supply से market का price नहीं बनता है, technology market. Because it's non-exhaustible. It never finished. Okay. It is not that once you give me technology, you don't have it anymore. The marginal cost of selling technology, which is already developed, to the owner क्या होता है? Zero. Some manuals will photocopy, plant how to do things. He will say, send 2 engineers, I'll train them up for 1 month. A very small amount of kharcha. For the buyer, in the case of seller of technology, many of them have copied it from others. They have at least built on the knowledge made earlier previously. Sorry. Something is gone. When developing countries are importing technology, let us say pharmaceutical technology, the original producers of product process accounted for only 1% of the total licensing. When India was importing technology for petrochemicals, and as I told you, I did my research on petrochemicals, the people who were selling were the followers of the commercial producers, mainly engineering companies. Okay. Lummus, Stone, Webster, these are the companies who give chemical technology for petrochemicals, for fertilizers and all these vehicles. Okay. They haven't developed it. It was developed by ICI, DuPont 50 years ago. They have been using that knowledge to make design engineering and make the equipment. So now they have become the licensees. Okay. So they are themselves not producers of the technology in one way. On the other hand, for the buyer of technology, the marginal cost of developing alternate technology with his own technical capacity is infinite. Suppose India decides it will make 5G technology, we will not import from China, we will not import from America, we will make it ourselves. And that used to be the policy in India, by the way, when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister. You have to first prove that technology is not available in India. And nobody knows CISR lab, and nobody can make it. No university can produce that technology. Then only were you allowed to import it. But if I have to start afresh, other countries have already gone ahead. America is lagging behind China in 5G. So they are trying to buy time, stopping China from going ahead. They hope within 6 months or 1 year, they will catch up. India is nowhere in the game. 4G में भी नहीं है, 3G में we are nowhere. But suppose we decide we are going to develop it. We can develop it. I'm very sure of that. It has to be a national target. Okay, under Sam Pitroda, we decided we will develop our landline telecom. We'll develop cheap exchanges. And within 2-3 years, all waiting list was over. And we developed new, very cheap, called RACS exchanges, regional exchanges, which are the cheapest in the world, by the way. And very good. They still work. If you go to the BSNL offices, inside you will get those racks exchanges which are made by a team of IIT engineers, young people hired and put together by Mr. Sam Petroda, because that was like a mission. But by and large, if you start doing this for every technology, technology which has already been developed by Chinese, it will take us 10 years, 5 years. It will not work. Our cost can be infinite. So what is the cost to Chinese? Zero. उसने तो बना लिया है ना already. If you take his technology, you will buy his equipment, you will buy his phone, you will do something else. They will make money on that also. Even if they give it to you free. They won't give it to you free, but if they give it. While if India tries to develop, or Indian company tries to develop, the cost is infinite. So how will you fix the price? मेरा cost infinite है, आपका cost zero है. You are the seller, I am the buyer. How will we arrive at a price? बताइए. In economics, the price is set by marginal cost. Remember, where the marginal cost curve and marginal return curve intersect. Because आपको economics थोड़ी याद हो. Anyway, but if my cost is infinite and your cost is zero, how should we set the price of this technology? Let's say 5G technology, or the technology to produce the new vaccine. How will you fix the price? Those companies who are developing vaccines, they have already poured billions into it. No? India में काफी काम हो रहा है. I'm not saying कि नहीं हो रहा है. There's a Hyderabad company putting money into it. And government has given them some grant to do it, which is very good. I'm proud of it. But I'm saying, all vaccines won't work, no? There are 6, 7 vaccines working. One will be more effective than the other, and the one which is most effective will win out. So how should we fix the price? In a market, that price fixing is very easy. Demand, supply, and marginal cost curves. In technology markets, how do we fix the price? There's one more problem. Can information or ideas be owned? Okay. What I am giving you is ideas, knowledge. Do I own it? Does Professor Khanna own it? Of course not. I have read it from somebody. I have read it from my own teachers first, then from books, other authors. The models I presented were written by somebody else. How do I own it? It can be secret or captive. But what does ownership mean? Ownership means I possess it. It belongs only to me. Okay. Knowledge can never be. Property and idea is a contradiction. Something that has been stolen, which he still possesses, and he wants it back. Something which given to him 1,000 times would add nothing to his possession. So if you say, Professor Khanna, your lecture was useless, give me back my 100 rupees and take back your knowledge. Can I take it back? Does it make any sense? I already have it. After giving it to you also, I still have the same knowledge or same lack of knowledge, whatever you want to put it. Okay. Same with technology supplier. If you say, take back your technology, it doesn't work, it's not good, give me back my money. What will he take back? He doesn't need your manuals back. He can make photocopies of the same manual 100 times. He has nothing to take back. So idea of ownership, property. Property and idea is a very difficult concept. Okay. The Western countries believe in it, patents, copyright, but it's all rubbish in a way. In one way, it's difficult to enforce. How do you prove it? This idea was yours and not mine. And all the science and technology develops on earlier done science and technology. So last 200 years work of chemistry, last 200 years work of physics, okay, of engineering, all goes into making today's new products. All right? So, second assumptions. Party must be able to assess the value of unit being exchanged, I said. What is the assumption about the market? Both sides must know what they are exchanging. Both sides have information about what they are buying and selling. Okay, this is violated. In the technology market, purchaser is in a weak position. He does not know what he's buying. It's not like buying aloo or a car. The formulation of demand for technology information that the buyer needs. To formulate a demand, I need the information about the properties of the technology. Okay. Am I right? Potential results, alternate offers about the item he tends to buy. I must know what this technology can do, what will it produce, what will be the cost of production. I must know everything. No? What raw material is needed, raw material India mein hai ki nahi hai. So about that, I need the properties and the results. And is there anybody else giving the same technology? Cheaper, more expensive? There should be many buyers and sellers, we have said. In technology market, that's violated. The item that he intends to buy, the information is the same time information needed to make the rational decision. I need knowledge about knowledge to set a price. Is this knowledge worth? They are asking me for $100 million for this knowledge, for this technology. Is it worth 100 million or is it worth 1 million? To assess that, it will depend on how much I can earn from that technology, how much value can I create from that technology. And to understand that, I must know what the technology can do. And that he will give me after I have paid the money. So that means I am buying something blind, with the eyes tight. I don't know what I am buying in the technology market. Okay. So it's a very peculiar kind of a market in which it is tilted against the buyer. And we Indians are buyers, unfortunately. We are not generative technology. What is needed is knowledge about knowledge. I need knowledge about knowledge to decide whether I should buy or not. And once I have the knowledge, I don't need to buy. Correct? Once you have the knowledge about this market from Professor Khanna, you don't have to buy it again. If you have understood and followed it, you have it for the rest of your life. Okay. And if you say, Professor Khanna, give me back my fees and take your knowledge back, Professor Khanna can't take it back. Same with information. Same with technology which the company gives you. Madam, while introducing me, told me I started my life at the age of 23, 24 in Delhi as an investment banker. So we were bachelors, young, staying in a Barsati, 3-4 of us sharing. There were other colleague of mine from IIM Ahmedabad, I was from IIM Calcutta, and there were 2 other guys from IIT. And they were working for a company called Indo-Burma Petroleum. It was a government company at that point of time. Okay. It's a true story I'm telling you about technology, about knowledge. I'm just not sharing a story like that. And we were all very young, and and we used to eat out dhaba, but we used to all meet in the evenings, sleep together, sleep in the same house and stuff like that. There were 3 rooms, and we used to sort of manage around. So these 2 engineers were hired from IIT Delhi, and they were hired to make a new product, a container to keep liquid nitrogen. Why? Because there was a World Bank program to artificially inseminate cattle to improve the breed, so that jada doodh hoga, etc., etc. And for that had to carry to villages. Villages don't have electricity, and those whatever was to be carried will die out. It needs very cold temperature. Okay, for insemination. And so those containers have to be made. And there was one company, French company, which had a monopoly, and they were asking for a lot of money, even for technology to make it. They wanted to first sell, say, 1 million containers, and the next 1 million ke liye they would give you the know-how, the way Rafale has done it. पहले 30,000 हमसे खरीद लो, फिर अगले 20 के लिए आपको टेक्नोलॉजी देंगे. Okay. So So these guys were put into a lab and they were working hard, and something used to go wrong. I don't remember. There was a leakage of the liquid nitrogen. They made those containers double. I have forgotten the full story. I'm not an engineer, so I'm a physics graduate. So I really forgot about it. So when the managing director went to London, to Paris, this French company that makes liquid oxygen, liquid nitrogen. So these two boys were taken along. Okay, 23, 24, who were working in R&D. Because the managing director used to call them, kya hua, kya project ka kya hua. They thought if they can make it, then they will not import technology. So they were negotiating. And these two boys, youngsters, unko bola, idhar ghuma do plant. They were 23, they were younger than me also, I think 21, 22, just out of IIT. They were roaming around the plant and they saw this equipment being made. Just by seeing, observing it being made, they knew the mistake that they are making. Okay. And they signed, the managing director signed an agreement for technology. This agreement was subject to approval of Government of India in those days. Everything had to be approved by government. And then only can you start the collaboration, you can send the money and so on and so forth. They came back. And on the flight, they told the boss, I think we know how to make it. And they went back to the laboratory. Laboratory was in Faridabad, outside Delhi. They went and they actually made the container. So the company now did not need the technological collaboration. It had the knowledge. And the French company, after waiting for 6 months, wanted to know, kya ho raha hai bhai? You signed the agreement with us, kya hua? So they made some excuse. But the French got to know these guys have started producing those containers. So they filed cases in India to block it. They filed a case in the High Court. And they're saying that our technology has been stolen. And these two boys have come and stolen it. Okay. And this was a government company. They got embarrassed. They got the French ambassador to put pressure. And there was so much pressure that not only should these boys be, they should be thrown out of the company. Because they did not want these guys to be anywhere near their technology which they were about to transfer. Of course, they were going to charge a lot of money for it. So I'm just saying that this is knowledge about knowledge. Okay. Once I know, I don't need it. I don't have to pay for it. Okay. This is just an example. Hence, market assumptions are violated and price is not set by market mechanism. So how is the price of technology set? The seller is free to transfer whatever he decides. वो आपको बोले साहब this is the best technology, वो आपको 4G दे दे बोले 5G है, आपको चलाना नहीं आता है, you will have no way of proving that he has given you the wrong thing. While purchaser has explicit fixed payment obligations, purchaser will have to pay 50% advance, 50% सब दिया होता है उसमें agreement. What seller is transferring, we don't know. It's not written in the contract. So if you write it down, then I don't need to buy it. Are you getting what I'm saying? It's a very special case. This is true of all knowledge, by the way, including knowledge transmitted by teachers like me and teachers like you to your students. This applies to all knowledge. Knowledge is free. It cannot be owned, proprietarily owned. Okay. And giving it back to the person who has given it has no value to him. In that sense, the buyer often does not know what to ask. I don't know what to ask. I will say, "Arey, banega nahi product. Will it be as good as that product? Okay, will this be productive?" So in technology market, the price is set through bargaining, like labor market, and can vary from 0 to infinity. So when will it be close to 0 and when will it be close to infinity? Anybody in the class? When will the price of technology be close to 0? And when will it be infinity? Huh? Anybody?
Freeware, open software, the price is 0, and
No.
and
I need a new technology. It's proprietary. Don't give me examples of which are free. वो तो बनाने वाले ने free करके रखा हुआ है ना, ठीक है ना? Textbook की knowledge is free. Once I pay for the textbook, it's free to me. In that sense, that's not the issue. There is a technology which I want to buy, which is not freely available. It can even be patented, suppose.
It's a lack of knowledge.
Huh?
Lack of knowledge about that technology.
Yeah, that I know, but when will be the price be infinity and when it be zero? I'm saying the price can be anywhere between zero and infinity. There's no way of setting the price. It's bargaining. आप बोलोगे जीरो में बेचो, वो बोलेगा हमको तो $200 million दे दो, है ना? So how do we arrive at a thing? Or what is the condition which will help you? You on the right track, madam.
Market condition.
There is no market. ये तो समझाया इतनी देर से यार. पूरी रामायण खत्म हो गई है. There is no market because market assumptions are violated. Market means I know what I am buying. I don't know what I am buying here. It's knowledge, information. It cannot be owned. If it cannot be owned, how can it be sold to me? Yes. Anybody else?
When the technology is not known to us.
Yeah. If you don't know anything about it, I told you many components of technology. Okay. What to make, how to decide, what to configure. Okay. How to design, do design engineering. Okay. It's a whole package. देखा था ना आपने? I had a slide on that. So there are many components of technology. The more components I already have, the less will I pay for it. I gave you the example of drug industry. I just want license. I don't need your knowledge how to make it. I know how to make it. I just want to give you license. So license का fees बहुत छोटा लगेगा, 2%. If you don't, I will anyway make my drug. And I will tell the government I have offered him 2%, he's not accepting it. Okay.
I can get it in like piracy thing. Then I can get it for zero price.
No, I'm not talking about price. I'm assuming there is a rule of law. He can file cases on you, all that. In piracy, you get away because if they catch you, they can put you in jail, theoretically. You're a pirate by definition. So, if I don't know anything about technology, then I will pay infinite amount, pay a lot of money. If I know most of the things about technology, one element is missing. Like those two boys who went to France, who knew everything except how to bend the steel, which machine to use to bend it. That's all they needed. The machine they were using was damaging the steel. Okay, and it was leaking out. Okay, and at what temperature to heat the steel before bending it. That was all. That's all little information they needed. So if I have very small need of information, the rest of the jigsaw is already in place, I will pay you very little for it. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes.
And if you don't sell me the technology, I will hire a manager who used to work in your factory, who's retired, उसको consultant बना लूँगा, है ना? ठीक है ना? Then I will say I've developed myself. I'll file a patent of my own. Then I can have a case with you. The process is this is a bargaining between two parties. The more knowledge you know about technology, so if you do R&D and even fail, if you get nothing out of R&D, you at least know about technology. क्या चीज़ है? If we try to make our 5G today, if the government put a team to work on 5G today, even if we don't produce in time, एक साल में, in 1 year they will know how to negotiate about 5G. They will know what is 5G, what we can do, and what is missing elements in that 5G knowledge set. And it's only the missing element that I need. I already know A, B, C, D. I don't know E and F. Then I know G, H, I know all that. So once I have some part of knowledge with me, I can easily bargain कि हमको भाई खाली G और D चाहिए. इसके लिए क्या लोगे? हमको पूरा नहीं चाहिए आपका 5G. Are you getting what I'm saying? Huh? So the more components, the more I unbundle the technology. This is called bundling of the technology. All parts are put together. The more I unbundle it, the more I take smaller parts of it. The less I will pay for it. If I go and buy the whole machine, then suppose I'm making my own car, and I just go and buy one engine from you, then I will pay one price. But if I buy a whole ready-made car, then you will charge me a lot for design, for everything, etc. Right? Car is not a very good example because we don't make. But many machines are made like that. Machines are fabricated. They are fabricated to certain designs, certain needs, and so on. Many of you are engineers, so you will be understanding this. Okay. Let me just go back to my presentation, and I'm sorry we lost some time. And where is this gone? Yeah, present. There's a few more slides left, and what's up? Oof. Yeah. Yeah. Can you see this? Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, sir. You can see that.
All right, all right. So technology market, the price is set through a process of bargaining. Like in labor markets, workers and managers compete. Bolta hai, you give me 20,000 rupees a month, the manager will say, I'll give you only 2,000 rupees, and like that they man. Okay, it's a bargaining. It can vary from anything. Okay, the bargaining requires clarity on negotiating elements. How much the maximum I'm willing to pay for it. Okay, and identification of areas where the other party will give it. If there are many people from India buying technology, he won't give it to me. He will say, I'm a dangerous guy, I know a lot more. But if there's only one guy buying, he knows if I don't buy from him, I'll go to America, not buy from the Chinese. Or Americans know I'll go to Chinese. Then I can play one against the other. Okay, and try to get a better deal, better bargain in that sense, is what we are saying. Bargaining capacity of purchaser is enhanced by unbundling the technology. This is what I was trying to explain all this while. The more I know about technology, the more I can open it up. Ye kya hai 5G? The more I know about it, the more I can bargain and get a better deal for myself. The more they know and I don't know anything about what is 5G. 5G होता क्या चीज है? कौन सा जानवर है? Okay, उसका सींग है कि नहीं है? 4 पैर हैं कि 2 हैं? If I don't know anything, then I will pay a lot more, etc. Capacity to export and enter global market depends on technology, unbundling, and generation capacity. Why is China so ahead of us in exports? Okay. It's amazingly, they were like us in the early 90s, our size. They are 4 times our size today, the economy. Their exports are more than our GDP, just the exports. Okay, so their capacity has been enhanced by technology unbundling, and they have been very good at it. They made Western firms give them technology. What Trump keeps telling about China is absolutely true. वो खरीदते हैं आपकी टेक्नोलॉजी, whatever पैसा you want, they give you. Then they unbundle it, copy it, and then they flood the market with their products. Okay. So what is the unbundling means? What are the different components of that technology? What are the different elements of the technology? How many of those components I already have? There are 10 elements, I already have 6. I need only 4. Can I pick and ask only for the missing elements? Sometimes they will refuse to sell you missing element. They will say, "Pura low package." हम अलग-अलग नहीं देते हैं. Are you getting what I'm saying? So cost of technology acquisition is how many components of technology value chain do you want? How much payment are you willing to make? When and how? And what terms? Often the Western countries, when they used to give technology to India, they will say, you will not export. You can use it in India only. You cannot sell your products into Bangladesh or Sri Lanka or Middle East because I am selling there. Don't come and compete with me. They will have a non-compete clause, non-export clause, which means your cost is much higher actually. You're paying 5 million, you think, but you're foregoing very lucrative markets where Indian products sell very easily. Indian products sell very easily in Middle East. They sell in Bangladesh, Nepal, etc. Okay, there are markets which Indian products dominate, and by this technology transfer agreements, etc. So I have to estimate the cost of this. Estimating economic cost is not just what is written in the contract. It's sometimes much more. It's more because they're asking me not to do certain things in future, and so on and so forth. Okay. So let me recap a little bit. In the morning, we looked at what is strategy. Then we looked at how we look at competition in industries, how we try to understand competition and the forces. And last part, we were looking at how we look at technology. Okay. And how do we bargain for technology? What is technology markets? How do we get it? How do we manage the technology? And why technology is essential for my strategy as new industries evolve, as new products come up, and so on and so forth. Okay. This is my presentation. I will stop sharing now and would have 5 or 10 minutes with you. If you have any questions, we can have a short discussion. I'm supposed to give you some questions also on what we have learned today, and a sort of a test. And if you have anything to ask me, please do so now.
Sir, there is one new trend in the technology market, like Adobe and Microsoft have started. They are not selling the software. They are renting it. So so that's a different kind of model where knowledge can be rented for infinite time.
They will get a lot more money out of it. They have a
Yes,
stronger
sir.
bargaining position. Okay. There are few
Yeah.
alternates to Adobe.
Yes, I do.
I don't have Adobe. I got it free from my University of Washington for teaching. That was for 3 months. 3 months are over. The license automatically expired. Okay. And they're asking a lot of money. So somebody like me, individual, won't pay for it. Yeah. In IIM Calcutta, when I have a computer there, I still have an office. I get it free there because IIM pays for it. But why will I pay for a service like this, which costs me 1,000 rupees a month? Okay. So it's a lot of money for an Indian. But they are trying to charge me a lot more. If they sold me a one-time fees of 5,000, I would happily pay and finish off with it. They don't want it. They want to give you a service. So you are like a source of income for them in perpetuity. It means their bargaining power is more than mine. I have very few choices. They can get away with it. If there were many choices, they won't be able to get away. Okay.
But one thing I don't understand, like when we have a lot of options in like open source, how do they get away with that? They can impose us, like for Microsoft Office we have LibreOffice, and for Adobe also there are many options available. So, but still, I think due to their power of marketing or advertisement.
No. It's called switching costs. All of us have to switch together to the new platform. You sent me a PDF file which requires Adobe to open. And I'm using some other software. I won't be able to open it. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Or formatting will change. Something else will go wrong. Huh? So, if you and I have to communicate, we both have to have the same Word program or same. I will send you a Word file and you don't have Word. So maybe you can open Google Sheets or whatever, little bit read it, but you can't work on it. And when you send it back to me, again, I'll have a hassle to put it back into my document. You know? So if we are using two different softwares. So this is called the power. Once everybody starts using, even if something is free, you can't switch. I'm locked in. Okay. This is the power of the monopoly. Okay. And technology companies live off this only. Yeah. And because we don't develop our own, again, look at Chinese. They have stopped all these guys, Google, from WhatsApp, anybody from coming into the country. They developed their own softwares. They did not even allow them to come inside. And they copied, they have a chat thing which is as good as WhatsApp, even better. You can attach videos there much better. So Indians can also make. There are Indians who have copied. There are Indian software program, but nobody will use it. So everybody is using WhatsApp. Am I right? If tomorrow government bans WhatsApp, then all of us start using the Indian apps,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
a government policy is needed. The Chinese government has acted strategically on these matters. Indian government has not. Though we are a software power, तो हमारे यहाँ तो ऐप से ऐप होने चाहिए थे.
Mhm.
Why should we be using American? Even the WhatsApp is developed maybe by Indian engineers sitting in Bangalore and owned by Facebook. That may be
Yes.
the truth, actually. You know, and they are lording it over us. So this, you need a what we call a technology policy at the national level. Okay, वो नहीं होता है. हमारी सरकार ने 75% कर दिया है foreigners to own to make defense industry. तो foreigner आके लिए हमारे defense equipment बनाएंगे. ऐसी हास्यजनक बात, such a funny thing I've never heard. Okay, we don't even let their technology be exported to you. What they call sensitive technologies, and they will come to make our equipment here. Only Indian companies can make it, either public sector or private sector companies. Okay, so
Yes.
so you think we will have defense industry controlled by foreigners in India? Very baapre. So this is what I'm saying. We lack of everything is foreign investment. Foreign investment. Karo, open up every sector. Okay, open up. कोई आएगा नहीं, because they will need the government permission to make anything in India. So they will make jutas and say faltu things. Okay.
Yes.
The Indian soldiers in Ladakh are wearing jackets made by Chinese. You read about it, na?
Yes.
So मैंने तो हम क्या लड़ने वाले उनसे? And we can't make jackets. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. Okay. So you have to have a vision, a strategic vision to do this. As I said, not only this government, last government also, Indians generally lack strategy. We just talk too much, and we forget what is strategic positions.
Yes. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anything else about the test we are going to have? About what kinds of questions you should expect? Okay, I haven't made up my test yet. But there'll be an objective type, but I might give you a small case to apply the concepts that we have used in technology or strategy or okay. So we are going to, I will request them to give you some readings today on strategy. So please take a look at those readings and prepare. I'll send you the test very soon. Any other questions? I see very few people attended the whole thing. I was told 100 people have enrolled, but at the peak there were 45 or 50 people, and now there are 35 only. But well, it's free, you know, it's knowledge is free. You're free to come and take it or not to take it, right? Any other feedback? Any other questions? So if there's no questions, then I would like to thank all of you for being so patient with me, especially the rebooting of the computer and keeping you waiting and starting a little late. Okay, I was ready, but somehow the system was not helping me. Okay, and thank you all very much for being. I hope you enjoyed the session, and I look forward to your suggestions or feedback and so on, which you give, etc. Okay.
Okay, sir. So we have come to the end of this session, and I would like to propose vote of thanks, sir. First of all, thank you so much, sir. It was indeed a great day for us, and I must take this opportunity on behalf of entire fraternity of Patna Women's College to extend my gratitude and appreciation. It was a great honor to have you, sir. It was a wonderful way to have an interactive session, and I must tell you, this credit goes to you, sir. Your experience and the way you carved the entire session was very enriching. And I'm sure today's participants also agree that there are many takeaways from this session as well. Once again, thank you so much, sir, for accepting our request and honoring us by your presence on this platform. And I hope to see you again on our college physically as well, sir.
I hope so. I hope so. I'll be able to come very soon.
Sure,
look-
sir.
My niece studied there, and I have a very high opinion of your college. I've heard nice things about it. I would love to visit it someday.
Definitely, sir. We will also look forward to that. And
Thank-
thank you all, dear participants, for joining us. And your valuable input has also added to make this a great day. Thank you all once again. And as per Sir request, the content will be uploaded in your Google Classroom. And quiz will be also prepared and will be uploaded soon, as per Sir request. And hope to have a great day ahead. And let's meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. Till then, let's stay safe, let's stay happy, and keep learning. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.